The importance of regionalism in the Bay Area is actually growing as both MTC and ABAG are starting to produce a sustainable community strategy encompassing all 9 Bay Area counties. That's basically something that all regions in the state of California are being required to do under legislation passed at Sacramento a few years ago. So we are trying to really coordinate a lot of efforts around the Bay Area in terms of housing and transportation and other health needs, really, which encompass many other areas, and truly trying to put together something that is truly sustainable for the Bay Area. The common goal is really encompasses not only those 2 agencies, but we have 2 other partners at the table also, BCDC, the Bay Conservation and Development Commission, as well as the Air District. But primarily the focus is on what ABAG and MTC have to do. MTC has to put together a regional transportation plan for the entire Bay Area, and ABAG has to come up with the regional housing allocation needs assessment, in which all communities, including each county, has a certain amount of homes which they are going to be required to show that they've been able to plan for to accommodate all income levels of housing over the next 25 years. MTC and ABAG, I don't think have ever been truly adversarial. They have been separated strictly from an administrative standpoint from their inception. Over the past 6 to 8 years, I think there's been a stronger attempt at merging their missions, seeing where they can collaborate and cooperate in vast areas of regions, not only around the area from a geographic standpoint, but from a thematic standpoint, of trying to marry the idea of having transportation needs matching housing as well as employment areas. And I think that trying to improve that cooperation and integration of the planning and implementation factors of both agencies has been something that I've been trying to stress, as well as others I think have been around the region also. It's been a process still ongoing, and I think there's going to be further advances in this, in my opinion, in the years to come. Well, the most shining moments in ABAG's first 50 years, I'll probably miss half of them when I talk about this, but the Bay Trail, I think, is something that people in all 9 Bay Area counties can relate to. They see that the Bay Trail being implemented. There's been various openings and extensions of that just within the past year that I've attended in various counties. We administer that program. I think that people see that from a insurance pooling standpoint, that ABAG has been very beneficial in extending an insurance collaboration between many cities throughout the Bay Area right now. Bonding finance. The Bay Area has been the recipient of many ABAG assistance areas in bonding, but not only just in the Bay Area, but throughout the entire state of California. Again, we have had the burden or the glory, or whichever way you want to look at it, of producing the regional housing allocation numbers, which admittedly has been a contentious program and process in many cases, but again, somebody has to do the work, and ABAG is the lead actor in that particular case. And I think from a standpoint of just a general sense of bringing the Bay Area together, that ABAG is the lead agency region-wide for that, because it's the only place where all 101 cities and all 9 counties are represented twice a year at the General Assemblies. So I think in terms of actual integration into the communities throughout the Bay Area, ABAG is the shining example for that. Well, of course, we have a geographic future which might change even in the next, over the next couple of years. Right now, ABAG, the Air District, and MTC are looking at the possibility of going to one location. Right now, ABAG and MTC are here in Oakland, and the Air District is in San Francisco. There is a study going on right now where all 3 agencies may indeed go to one location. That city has not been identified yet, or the exact location inside that city, but that's something that I think people should be aware of, that process is ongoing, and my prediction that probably something will be worked out there where all 3 agencies end up being at the same location. I think that ABAG and MTC at some point, the strong probability there will be a complete merging of those 2 organizations into one agency. And I say that because almost in every other major part of the state, in those metropolitan areas, you see that unification right now. There's a long, gory history as to why that didn't happen with ABAG and MTC decades ago. But as in all things, things evolve, things change, and I think the time is very close to being ripe where we see that full integration of the 2 agencies. I think that what I've tried to do, not only as the ABAG president, but frankly in any role I've had in government, whether it's been in Alameda County or from a regional level, is trying to take as broad a perspective of things as possible. I try not to move into a position strictly from a homer standpoint, what's in it just for Union City, what's in it just for Alameda County. I try to take as broad a perspective as possible. And I've personally gone out in my first year's presidency here to all the counties and to their mayor's conference or their councils of governments inside each county to take the word out to each one of those counties, let them know, yes, we care, we're here to help, we're here to be interactive. It isn't just a top-down standpoint. We want to hear what's going on at the local level. So it's been very educational for me to going around to the various counties, how they each handle their own councils of governments in each one of the places. So I've been trying to be proactive personally on the basis of regionalism, and I think from a broader perspective, as I always try to see what's best for the region and not just see what is best for Union City or what is best for Alameda County, because ultimately all of us cross city lines, all of us cross county lines, and we need to, in my opinion, really realize that any improvements to other areas around the region or in other counties ultimately are probably going to come back and be beneficial to us also, because at some point you're going to be using that improvement. That program will be helping somebody you know, somebody in your own city which may be employed there. So there are various reasons why not just to take a very narrow region, a very narrow aspect of what's going to get in it for your own city or county. I think the person on the street who's not involved in government, who isn't a bureaucrat, they need to know that ABAG is here as a regional agency trying to find the best solutions to a vast array of problems. It isn't just an agency which has one mission. It isn't just an agency with one thing to do. We're involved in insurance, bonding, housing, bay trails, environmental issues, social issues, hazardous material issues. It's really a great warehouse for a vast amount of information, as well as a vast amount of interaction between all of these people in 9 counties and 101 cities. And again, I still emphasize that it's really the most democratic of all the regional agencies. Well, I think a person should care, because when it gets down to livability, we're trying to make the Bay Area a more livable place for not only the people who might be coming here in the future, but for the people who are here now. We're trying to see ways to make transit-oriented development work, trying to find ways to have priority development areas actually come alive. So I think all of these reasons are there for a person who may not be that clued in on a day-by-day basis of government, but a place like ABAG is where something that affects you in your own personal life, actually decisions are made here in ways of how this can be improving your city, how it can improve your commute, how it can help programs in your area.
Going back a little bit to the history of ABAG, who are some of the key people who played significant roles in the development of ABAG over the years in your mind?
Well, I think you have to put Reverend Trantner up there, and the executive directors, Eugene Leung, Henry Gardner, Ezra Rapport. I mean, those have been the 4 directors that I've personally known since I've been a board member here for 16 plus years. Those 4 have been here since all that time. Reverend, I think, has the longest tenure of any particular executive director. Some of the, I've been, I think, through 7 or 8 different presidents since I've been here. Now, State Superintendent of Schools Tom Torlakson was the president actually when I came on board here. Former Supervisor Mary King in Alameda County. Several of the past presidents are up there now: Scott Haggerty, Dave Cortese, Rose Jacobs Gibson, Gwen Regelli, who I actually consider her to be the queen of ABAG of all the years that I served here. Former council member and mayor out of the city of Walnut Creek. She's still been the president, I guess, whose footsteps you try to emulate the most. And you go back, I think Rod Diridon out of Santa Clara County was one of the first, maybe the only person who ever sat on whoever chaired the Air District, MTC and ABAG, not simultaneously, but one time or another in his career. I think he's the only person who can still wear that triple crown. Dick Spees here out of Oakland, a longtime ABAG member. And I think he set the record for being the immediate past president the most times, because if somebody would fall off, he'd always go back to Dick being the last immediate past president. So I think Dick has a lot of titles in there. So those are some of the people I think that really stand out in my mind. Well, Gwen I think from my perspective, had a presence during a meeting that exuded sort of a calm, composed, regal type of presence at the meeting. But beyond that, she knew what she's talking about. And so she was very knowledgeable and smart and was able to weave all that together to, I think, help push ABAG along in the right direction, as well as keeping a lot of cantankerous and sometimes argumentative people, as you're going to get in politics, it's just the way it is. She's able to keep that under control, I think, for most of the time. Revan, again, having been in this role for, I'm not sure how many years it was, but it was 15, 16 years. I think maybe even, I might be even low on that number. I think perhaps it's even higher. Brought a certain cosmopolitan aspect to this position, which I think a person like Henry Gardner, I think, did a great job in, also because as the executive director in ABAG, in many ways you almost have to be like a secretary of state, because a lot of it's diplomatic work in an essence, because again, it isn't just one county, it's 9. It isn't just 14 cities that we have here, it's 101. They range from, you know, a little place like Coma, what, 1,100 people, to San Jose, 1 million. So you have a wide discrepancy of economic strata, a wide discrepancy of just size, a wide discrepancy of some people being, you know, stronger growth, some almost being no growth at all. So it's a lot of balls in the air simultaneously to be juggling. Well, what drives me to staying committed to ABAG is that, again, I've been a board member here for 16 years. I've been the president now for the last year. I've seen a lot of changes over the Bay Area in the 16 years I've been at ABAG, but plus the 39 years I've actually lived in the Bay Area and in California. And I think you're always wanting to see improvement. That's really the driving goal, I think, that I have and have had as a elected official, is trying to keep striving for improvement, progress, positive change, whether it be projects, programs, or policies. And I think that here, right now, at this cusp of the Sustainable Community Strategy, this is a very exciting time to be as the president of ABAG, and I think it's a great time to be in any regional position, frankly, around the Bay Area, because there's so many things that you can be having an effect on right now. So I'll be joining MTC in February of 2011. I think that they are certainly respected and have been rightfully respected as being a very powerful agency, not only from a local standpoint, but I think they've been recognized nationally as a cutting-edge type of organization in terms of what they've been able to deliver in terms of projects and programs. And when it comes to transportation, I know the Obama administration tapped into one of their top lieutenants a couple of years ago, and I think and Steve has been appointed to Department of Transportation, important committees there, so I think that's reflective of what nationally has been seen as very competent and high-quality people at the administrative level here. And from the commissioners level, I think that they've, again, been trying to take as regional of a perspective as possible, whether it's on freeways, whether it's on rail or buses or other livable community types of strategies. And I think that's what's going to be trying to be continued here over the next decade. Well, I think that you're looking at that right now, the Caldecott Tunnel, the 4th bore being drilled right now. I think that having BART going into San Jose, as well as all the other BART expansions, and he BART into the San Francisco airport. That's been a huge improvement. I started riding BART back in 1972 when I was a student at Cal. I was mentioning that the other day at an opening in the Union City of our BART station. You know, this is the improvement of service. Now, I don't really know if that's BART, but MTC, you know, has its hands in many things. And if you look at the freeway, you know, you're going across the San Mateo Bridge. That used to be just 2 lanes. Now that's 3. That was a huge improvement, getting that put through. We have HOT lanes now in southern Alameda County, so we're starting, you know, some innovation on that level. Doyle Drive, Transbay Terminal, Highway 85, 80. I know is a tough freeway through both Alameda and Contra Costa counties, as well as Solano. But, you know, we've been trying to do as much as we can on 80. The 580, 680 interchange has been improved tremendously. That whole 24 And 680 interchange in Walnut Creek has been a huge improvement over the years. So I think that all of these major projects you can look at throughout almost every county around the Bay Area, where on a freeway standpoint, on a rail standpoint, or on a bus standpoint, where MTC's had a positive input.